Yeah, talk
Mhm.
about More Love. Set that up because I want
Yeah.
everybody to hear that. What was the inspiration behind More Love?
The inspiration behind More Love was Trayvon Martin and Philando Castile and just this vendetta against the black man in our country. That was the biggest inspiration for that song. I just reached a point of frustration, which a lot of us have. When I witnessed Philando Castile be murdered in his vehicle on
Mm,
Facebook Live,
mm,
I really didn't even know that that's what I was witnessing. Like I didn't even realize that I was watching it
my God.
because I usually don't watch those types of things. So the fact that it even came through my timeline, I have no idea how it even happened, but witnessing it just was life altering. I just couldn't even believe what I was seeing. Took pen to paper and I just got my frustrations out through my writing. That's really what influenced it. I didn't know what else to do. And I think as an artist, I have these conversations with my sister. She's an artist as well.
Okay.
And we have conversations about these uprisings that happen. We're like, what is our place in this? Like
Right.
I'm a sensitive introvert. Like it's not really my place to go out into a protest because I'm too sensitive. Like I couldn't handle all of that intensity. Like, so I know I can't do that. So what is my place? And so we always come back to the conclusion of our place is our art. Like that's the gift that God has given us is our art. So we need to make our voices heard through our art. And so that's what I was determined to do with this song. And so it's my heart's desire that this song just reaches the world. I mean, because we all know how powerful art is. That's why I
Yeah.
love people like Stevie Wonder
Oh
and
my God. Yeah.
Marvin Gaye and people who use the music for the powerful force that it is.
Is there anything that you would have done differently knowing what
Mm,
you know now or
hmm
you wouldn't do again?
Yes, there's definitely something I would do differently. I was working with a manager and he had promised so many things that he was going to do for me and musically.
Yeah.
And a lot of those promises just kind of fell by the wayside. Like he
Or
didn't really make good. Now, some things he did do, but for the long term, like, um, it just, after a while, it just kind of stopped.
sure.
And I was looking for someone to help me, and, when I didn't get that help, I did get kind of discouraged. I was like, what am I supposed to do? I want to get this music out. I want to write music. I want to do this thing. Like,
Right.
where's my help? Like, I don't know how to do it. And
Mm,
so I think what I would do differently is to not place my hope and faith and trust in a person.
awesome.
As a believer, I know that many people believe different things and have different faiths, but I personally had to learn to put my faith in God and my trust in God instead of other people and hoping that other people would do something for me. Because I had to realize that He gave me the gift and that He said I can do all things through Him. If I had to do it again, which I know it's all a learning experience,
Yeah.
but I would just trust that God has given me the gift and that, I can do it.
I wanted to have Erica share with us her experience of auditioning for
The
The
voice?
Voice. I know. Oh, you got to give us some juicy gossip. What was going on
Yeah.
back there?
Oh, I'll never forget doing that. I actually auditioned twice. I auditioned twice, and it's experience you just can't forget. I auditioned while I was in Los Angeles, so it was first of all it was a lot of people because I did the mass audition, and it was just a lot of people. A lot of people. But before I went, I tried to prepare myself like I did for all the auditions that I've
Sure.
done, like try to prepare myself just like you just don't know what you're walking into. But to actually when you actually are like standing before the judges, there's so many people they have to break it off into groups. So you audition in a group.
Okay.
So we all one by one went up before two judges. We all sang, they let us sing like a 30-40 second snippet of something. So they're like, just give us your best
Maybe.
30 seconds of something,
Yeah.
and you just have to give it your all, and you just hope for the best. There's one of two things you get. You either get you stay and you wait for them to call you back to audition again, or
Right?
you are dismissed right after you sing. The first time I auditioned, I got a hey, hang around. We might call you back again.
Okay.
And you just like stay and wait for, I think it's like an hour or something like
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Yeah. And then I think they never called or whatever. They give it's like a certain amount of time or something
Sure,
like that. It was
sure.
a while ago, but
Right.
after a certain amount of time, if you didn't get the call back, then you just assume like, oh, okay, like they,
Next.
we
Exactly.
so yeah,
Do
yep.
you think you'll
So,
ever do that again?
am I inclined to at this point? Not
Right.
really,
Exactly.
but I never say never. I
Right.
don't feel like, oh, I didn't get it, so I'm never doing it again. Like
Sure.
I don't feel like that. After the audition, I have to be honest and say, like I met people who said they didn't have to do the audition. Like they had agents who got them right in front of the real judges. They bypassed like the whole audition process. They didn't have to do any of it. And so that's just one thing of, being in the industry, it's just a part of it.
Yep.
People have agents that get them through glass doors,
Yeah.
and it is what it is. But honestly, I was discouraged after that because I was like, wait, why did I go through all this trouble?
Exactly.
Like, why did
Hello.
I go through all of that? Like, got made sure I was looked up to par, and like, because there's a whole thing when you do auditions, like you have to like look a certain way. You gotta have your makeup done. You gotta, it's a whole thing out there.
Right.
So I was discouraged for a while, but it's temporary. You live and you learn, and you
Right.
just keep moving forward, and it's a part of the process, a part of the journey, you
Right.
know.
Have you thought about writing for others? Did you ever think about submitting
Yeah.
material to anybody? Who could
Yeah.
who off the top of your head do you think about?
Off the top of my head, I actually wrote a song that's going to be on my new project. I wrote it with someone else in mind. Actually, two people in mind.
Okay.
Rasan Patterson, who is
Yep.
like one of my all-time favorite artists,
Yep.
who super inspires me,
Okay.
and Shaka Khan.
Oh
I
wow.
wrote it kind of with them in mind.
This year?
So, but it's called Coffee, and it's a love song. And
Oh,
so, yeah, I actually did write it with them in mind. Like one day, I want them to sing this song. It's either
you
one of
never
them.
you never
Either
know.
one.
We cover other people's things, so you just never know. They
Right.
may they may
That's
cover
true.
yours. That would be such
Yeah.
an exciting thing to see. Uh,
Yeah.
and it'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope so.
So
Mm,
can you
hmm
recall at that point who your greatest musical influence was?
Absolutely. Middle school through high school, I have two.
Okay.
One was Mariah Carey.
Ah, I love
Mariah
it.
Carey, when
Yep.
she came out with Hero and yeah, Vision of Love.
Mhm.
Mariah was my hero. Like I
Aw,
wanted to sing like her. Like if
okay.
there was anyone I wanted to sing like, it was her. I loved her voice, and it was just amazing to me. So Mariah Carey and Crystal Lewis was also a really big influence on me. My mom introduced me to Crystal as a kid, and I remember hearing her music and hearing her voice and just being like, man, I really like her voice and her music, and I just loved it, and I would just blast her music and just try to learn every lick and every run,
Every
and
note. Yes.
just yeah,
Yeah.
those two ladies were probably my
Phenomenal.
biggest influences as a young lady. Yeah.
When did the professional part of this desire
Mm,
blossom? When did that happen? What
yeah.
happened?
I
What space and time was it when you discovered that?
Yeah, I think that started in high school too, because I come from a very musical family. So like I was saying before, my mom is a singer as well, and all of my uncles, I have uncles that sing. Like it's very music is all throughout our family. And so I have a really dear uncle that took me with him to a studio session. So like I had my first studio session in high school, and like experiencing that and being behind the microphone and singing with other people. And it was just, and we had to sing it like really well and like really skilled. Like
Yeah.
it just, it just opened my eyes to a new world. And I loved it. I was just like, man, this is great. Like, because a lot of times in choir environments, everyone doesn't have to be skilled necessarily.
You are so
And
correct.
so when you're in a studio, when you're in a studio environment,
You gotta be
it's
on
like
point.
complete opposite. Like you have to be on point. And so being able to be in that environment where like you just hit it and then you get it and you go to the next thing and like you don't have to wait for somebody else to get it. It's like, you just got it. Like I was like, oh, I really like this. So I think from then I was like, oh, I want to do this professionally because I love that. So I think that's when that switch went off when I went to that first studio session
Yeah.
in high school. I was like, okay, yeah. In college, I was involved in my local church. I went to college in Kalamazoo, and I started traveling with our worship leader, with some good friends of mine. Our worship leader in church was an artist, and so we would travel with him and sing with him, in churches and different, stages. And so that's when I started getting more into the professional arena of singing and being in the industry and seeing the behind the scenes of the industry and stuff. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. I am so glad to know that you have a husband who loves you dearly. He helps produce your music. Is that correct?
Yes, he does. Yes. He's amazingly helped me a lot. Like just to have him by my side is just I'm so blessed and so thankful. So yeah, he's a musician and producer and he does both.
And I love the partnership. That's my heart,
Yeah.
for women who have been in this industry and they have gone through, some of these things.